All right, everybody, today we're going back in time to look at a comedy gem that deserves way more attention than it ever gets. Hold on. All right, everybody, we're going all the way back to 1980, over 40 years ago. Can you believe it? To look at some comedy mastery, starring two comedy masters, who we'll get into very soon. We're looking at 1980s stir crazy. That's right, folks. This movie deserves way more attention than it gets, and we're going to look at it today. But before we go any further, once and again, and as always, to the trailer.
I hereby sentence you to serve 125 years. Have you got the right case?
Columbia Pictures presents Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
I have my head overhauled for listening to you.
Together again in Stir Crazy.
I can't feel nothing in my leg.
One's a little too good.
That's Grossberger, the biggest mass murder in the history of the Southwest.
Nobody has ever just sat down and honestly talked with that man. Hello.
One's not quite bad enough.
They got this Korean doctor just set foot in this country. Make sure you don't get him.
That's right.
He's the one made the mistake on me.
Korean.
How do you go?
That's the cat did me.
Could you actually become involved, romantically, with a prisoner?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Excuse me, will you?
I'll come with you.
Oh,
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor in Stir Crazy. Only these two guys could dress up like woodpeckers and get framed for robbing a bank. Stir Crazy.
That's right, we bad.
Imagine all the possibilities.
All right, this motion picture was directed by Sidney Poitier. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The actor? Yes, the actor. That actor directed some really cool stuff, and we're going to get into it right now. We're talking about he did things like Hanky Panky. He did Ghost Dad, A Warm December, Fast Forward, Vic and the Preacher, and he did 3 motion pictures that you have to see. We're talking about Let's Do It Again, A Piece of the Action, and Uptown Saturday Night. Oh my God, you guys got to check those flicks out. It's just the way it is. All right, let's get to the cast. Got a lot to cover. All right, the cast here is massive, so we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep going. We're going to try to nail everything and everybody as fast as we can. Playing Skip Donahue, the one and the only Gene Wilder. That's right, folks. Let's do this. We're talking about he was in things like Young Frankenstein and The Producers and See No Evil, Hear No Evil and Silver Streak and The Frisco Kid, which a lot of people forget about, and Hanky Panky and The Woman in Red, and he was even in Bonnie and Clyde and The World's Greatest Lover and Haunted Honeymoon and, of course, Willy Wonka and The Chocolate Factory. You think he has a huge career. He really doesn't. He was only in like 30-something things from beginning to end, but the things he was in were legendary. Playing Harry, the one, the only, Richard Pryor. Let's take a look. We're talking about he was in little things like Lady Sings the Blues and Uptown Saturday Night and The Mac and Car Wash, Greased Lightning, The Wiz, come on, everybody remembers The Muppet Movie and Holy Moses and Bustin' Loose, which is a cute little movie you all got to see, and The Toy and Some Kind of Hero and Harlem Nights and Superman 3, and he only had less than 50 credits himself to his name. He didn't appear in that much, but he's a legend for what he did and what he was in. Plain and simple, playing Rory. And I'm going to get into his job in this motion picture because he basically made the motion picture. We're talking about George Stanford Brown. Let's go. A lot of TV credits. Let's nail them off. We're talking about he showed up on things like Mannix and Roots and North and South and Matlock and Nip and Tuck and our Medical Center and Room 222 and Mission Impossible and Here Comes the Brides and the FBI. And for me, because I actually had the action figure of him and the goddamn car, he was The Rookies. That's right. That's right. You had to be there. Playing Jesus, Miguel Ángel Suárez. Now, he was in a couple movies, you know, Paradise Lost, The Survivor, but he was really a Spanish-speaking TV guy, and he was on a shitload of shows. I'm not even going to try to cover them because I'll just butcher it, man. I can't speak Spanish at all, even though I'm half Hispanic. Hey, it is what it is. It doesn't make a difference. I can't do it. I'm not going to mess it up. But that's his history. Here we go. Playing the Warden. He's one of those kinds of people I love, man. Barry Corbin. Oh, not a star name, but man, he was in everything. Let's roll. We're talking about he was in Urban Cowboy. He was in Any Which Way You Can, and The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, and Honky Tonk Man, and friggin' War Games, come on, and Critters 2, and Six Pack, and he was on TV, Northern Exposure, The Big Easy, Dallas, Heart to Heart. You knew him, you knew the face, ton of shit, man, just the way it goes. Playing the Deputy Warden was Craig T. Nelson. I just covered him in my last video. I never try to put two movies together where two actors fall into the same thing, but it is what it is. Craig T. Nelson, I'm going to go down this list again. We're talking, of course, he was in Poltergeist. He was in Poltergeist 2. We're talking about he was in Injustice for All, in Silkwood, in Action Jackson, in Blades of Glory, in Private Benjamin, and All the Right Moves. And he was on TV. My name is Earl. He was on a show that he headed himself. Coach. So, cool career is what it was. Let's keep moving. Now, here's a name we got to cover. Erland Van Lidth. Played Grossberger, right? We're talking about, of course, he was in stuff like The Running Man, and The Wanderers, and in Alone in the Dark. But this guy really had an interesting life, man. He went to MIT, was kind of a computer specialist genius, if you will. Did that for a living. Was an alternate on the Olympic friggin' wrestling team in '76. We're talking, he sang opera. He sang opera. He did. He really did. And he was actually in New York singing opera and wanted to dive more into that as his career went on and died, unfortunately, early. And he actually even did some pro wrestling. Talk about an interesting life. Talk about an interesting career. Erland Van Lidth. Shame this guy passed away too soon. Shame he passed away too early. I would love to see what else happened to his career and life, really. And there's a whole bunch of other faces and other names that are in this motion picture in smaller roles, but they are there, so let's get them out of the way quick. We're talking about JoBeth Williams, who pops up, and she was in Poltergeist, which I just talked about, and you know she was in Without Warning. Of course, she's in this a little bit more than some of the other names I'm going to mention, but I had to keep this short, and I had to pick the main people in there, just the way it goes. Joe Brooks, he was on every TV show known to man. Come on, you've seen his face before, you've seen it a million times. Jonathan Banks, 48 Hours, Gremlins, come on, dudes. Franklyn, Ajaye, Convoy, and Car Wash, just the way it goes. Charles Weldon, dude, he played Kojak, and Sanford and Son was on TV all over the friggin' place. Billy Beck, we're talking stuff like Lou Grant, Mary Hartman. He had a long, ridiculously long career. And Louis Ávalos, come on, I love that guy. Fucking, he was on the Electric Company back in the day. The Electric Company back in the day. I watched this shit all the time, and he was there. We're talking about other people like Tony Burton, who, of course, was in Rocky. I mean, most of the Rockies, for that matter. And you got Henry Kingi. Come on, he was a stunt man, an actor, and he was in everything. You've seen him in everything from Predator 2 to I don't care what. He was in everything. So there is nothing but faces in this motion picture, front to back, back to front. It's loaded with names. It's loaded with faces. You're going to love it. Let's go. Okay, everybody, I'm going to do this in 90 seconds or less. It can be short, keep it fast, keep it entertaining, keep it moving, so we can get to what we would much rather be, the summation. You got these two guys. They just want to be in show business. We are talking about Skip and Henry. And Henry's kind of working this job as a butler, waiter, whatever the hell he is at this rich mansion. And Skip, well, we never really get to see him do much because he gets his ass fired. But it doesn't make a difference. They're friends, they're pals, and all that they want to do is be in show business. Skip is a writer, Henry's an actor. It is what it is. And they come to the conclusion they have to get the hell out of New York City and get to the most wonderful place for acting in the world, California. Anyway, up and off they go. What you realize about Skip is he's the eternal optimist. He sees good in everything. There's not a situation where he doesn't think that you can go up and give somebody a hug and everything's going to turn out okay. It is what it was. Well, one night, while they're in good old California, they run into a couple of goofballs at a bar, and he tries to do his, let me get to know you, how's it going routine. And they kind of remember him, it doesn't really take well. Well, the only work that these guys can get anyway happens to be at a bank, being a couple of dancing woodpeckers, chickens, I don't know what the fuck they were. Whatever it was, it doesn't make a difference. But while they're on break one day, the two guys from that bar steal their costumes, rob a bank, run off in their car, and before you know it, Skip and Henry, they get blamed. And before you know it, after that, they're sentenced to like 374 million years in prison. Skip doesn't really think it's going to happen until it happens, and his world is shattered, and these two dudes, who are not tough dudes at all, get thrown into a prison of, well, harshness. While they're there, through hook or crook, one circumstance or another, you find out that the prison has a rodeo every year. That's right. And they try out all the new prisoners on a mechanical bull. Well, who the hell would have known? But Skip is a master of the mechanical bull. Never knew it, because he can't take anything seriously. He's kind of lighthearted. He just gets up there and rides and has a good time. And they want him to do nothing else but ride that bull and represent them in the next rodeo. Well, the boys come up with a plan. The plan is to break out, because they don't want to spend the rest of their lives in jail, and get the hell out of Dodge at the rodeo. But he needs his boys to be with him so they can break out as a group. So he hides his true feelings of, I'll do this, with, I ain't going to do this, until he can strike a deal with the warden to have his own team so they can all break out of jail at the same time. And by the way, in the background, you have these two lawyers that are trying to get them out. That's Joel Brooks and a very, very cute JoBeth Williams, who are working behind the scenes to get them out of prison at the same time they're trying to break out of prison. That's basically the story. That's basically what you got. Two guys wrongly accused, convicted, thrown in jail, trying to break out. All hell breaks loose, and there's a rodeo. Beep. Okay, everybody. Does Stir Crazy work? Hell yeah, Stir Crazy works. I remember seeing it in the theaters when I was just a kid. And I laughed my ass off then, and I still laugh my ass off now. It's a great little comedy that gets woefully overlooked, and that should not be the case. Now let's get to the big three before we get to why this motion picture works. First, the directing. Listen, man, I'm going to tell you flat out right now, just the way it goes. Sidney Poitier could direct. He really, really could. Yes, he had some stinkers on there, but he did have some really good flicks on there. I told you before he had, like, Let's Do It Again, Uptown Saturday Night, Piece of the Action. If you want to see movies that are directed in the perfect 70s style, simple, straightforward, capturing the vibe that they need to capture and just telling the goddamn story, Sidney could do it. Man just passed away. It's a shame. Talented. Should have directed more flicks. I understand, like, Goes Down and a couple other things didn't really help things, but when he was on point, and that's all you need to know. The writing's fine. The lines are funny. The dialogue is great. The story works. It is what it is. You don't need any more than what it's given to you. It's a comedy, and that's all it was meant to be. And the acting, oh my God, yes, one of the places this motion picture shines. The acting in this thing is goddamn hilarious. Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, and everybody else deliver. Yeah, they're kind of cartoon characters by and large. I mean, everybody's like a little bit of an amped up version of something, but they all deliver and they all do it the right way. Craig T. Nelson isn't just prick, he's a super prick. And the warden isn't just sleazy, he's super sleazy. And Skip just isn't bright-eyed, he's beyond bright-eyed. So, it's that kind of acting. It is what it is, but it fits this kind of movie, and that's what we're going to get into now. All right, everybody, why does this motion picture work? Simply because it is farce. It is 110% farce, and it's delivered to you as such. They never try to do anything that was really realistic in this motion picture. Everybody in it knows what it is. If you're the kind of human being that you like TV shows like Three's Company, where that is farce, you never expected a day to go like it went on that show. It was always some kind of misunderstanding and everybody was over-amplified. This is the same thing. And if you roll with it, and if you say to yourself, I don't care that they could never pull this shit off in prison. I don't care that nobody would ever act the way these guys act, really. I don't care that these situations are evolving in a way that would never happen in real life. Then you are going to laugh your ass off and have the time of your life watching this. You can't expect real prison drama. It's just what it is. Sit back, relax, enjoy it, and that's what it's there for. You get to see one of the great performances by a comedy duo that did a few movies together. We're talking Wilder and Pryor. They did Silver Streak. perfection. They did this. Awesome. They did See No Evil, Hear No Evil. We won't really talk about that one too much, but these two guys worked together on screen. They gelled. You couldn't get two guys that were more opposite in their delivery and approach, but man, they made it happen. And when you put the two of them together, it was comedy gold. So this is a perfect example. If everybody ever tells you about Pryor and Wilder as a duo, this is an example of what you would have gotten in other flicks. Even though Pryor was supposed to be in Blazing Saddles and didn't turn out, you would have got this. This is the team, this is the duo, and just be glad you're watching it. Now, are there any downsides to this motion picture? Not really. I'm serious. Okay. During the rodeo scenes, there's parts where you're watching this guy running around, supposed to be Gene Wilder messing with a bull, and it's obviously not Gene Wilder, obviously not messing with the bull. There's little things like that. Is there a joke maybe here or there that doesn't land with a massive thud? Yeah, but by and large, because of what it is, you can't really down a farce. You can't, because you know it's all just crazy bullshit anyway. So this motion picture really doesn't have any negatives, and it really doesn't have any faults. You have a supporting cast that all brings it. You have a story that delivers. You have two main stars that are just almost at their peak in their prime. There's no real downsides here. There's no real negatives. The idea that Gene Wilder is just going to fall in love with his lawyer over a goddamn wall in a prison and make boo-boo eyes and she falls for him, it's stupid. But it's a farce, so you don't care. The idea that they're going to walk into a prison and Gene Wilder's going to pop into his trying to scare all the prisoners away from him, it's goddamn asinine. But it's a farce, so it's okay. And the idea that they're going to turn big old Grossberger from this killing machine who's wiped out more people than goddamn Adolf Hitler into this big lovey teddy bear who sings. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It's asinine. And it works perfectly because it's a farce. Everybody, go out and watch Stir Crazy. If you want to see what a farce is supposed to be, and I've said that word 15 times too many already during this summation, but this is it. It's fun. It's goofy. It's just meant to be a fun time. And you're going to walk away laughing. More coming out than when you went in. And also, before I go, I almost forgot to bring it up. You have to watch George Stanford Brown in this motion picture. My friggin' God, is he fucking hilarious. I am serious. He almost steals the motion picture away from Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor in any of the scenes he's in. Any of the scenes he's in. He is hilarious. Yes, there's a lot of humor in this stuff that you can't do today, or you wouldn't be able to get away with today, or somebody be fucking offended at today. It doesn't make a difference. Everybody in this is great, and he is on point. Funny as shit. Crazy ass on time fucking timing with his jokes. The man delivers. And by the way, nobody's ever really made fun of in this thing, so if anybody's like, really touchy or something, that's not the kind of performances you get in this. Nobody's being ridiculed. It's just funny. It's hilarious. It's humorous, and it's one we could all laugh and have a fucking kick-ass time. All right, everybody, be good. Take care. Stay out of trouble. Be kind to a friend. Be polite to a stranger. And above all else, no matter what, never, and I mean ever, take any bullshit from anybody. See you soon.